Hey guys, welcome to my first tutorial. This is dedicated to the vertical wheat farm that I have in the Let's Play world, and I'm using too many items and zombies mod pack for this, so I can fly around, have max stack. This is my testing world. This is where I do all my designs and redstone experiments and everything like that. But enough jibber jabber, let's get on with the tutorial. This is all recorded after I've filmed all the clips. So it'll be much easier to go through step by step rather than do it with live commentary. So let's get this thing started, shall we? So as I said, this is my test world, and it's where I do all my designs, redstonery, fart-assing around with different colours and tests and everything. You can see some towers in the background, just ignore that. So first off, you're going to start by having a power source, and you want these torches to be on by default. So you can flick it on and off, yada yada yada, whatever. And need some redstone. So we just lay it down one block like that, so we have a bit of a spread out. I don't know why I put that redstone piece there, I guess just wanted to be an idiot for a second. This is the direction that you're going to enter the farm at. So I'm trying to build a little corridor here, just to make the imagination just a little bit easier. So that's the first step, figure out which way it's going to face. The next thing you want to do is sort of elevate the wire a little bit. It's going to go up in a stair-like fashion up to I like to consider them crosses, like an X or a T. More so an X because it's sort of, whoop, fucked up a bit there with the zombies mod. But anyway, yeah, an X of redstone. Now, the two limbs on the side will go to sticky pistons on top. Now, these are facing upwards. Now, this is a little bit difficult to imagine building legit, but it is possible. Believe me, I've done it. But you also need a vertical wire with torches, which is why I put that torch there. Now you're going to want to do this 3 times, and they are exactly the same. It's all symmetrical. It's really simple once you get one limb down. The only thing that's different in this, oh, and I screwed this part up, so just ignore my screw up here. I realized just then. But the only thing that's going to be different in this design is the side where you enter from. So once again, we need the vertical wiring, so we'll put a block there and a torch on top. So that's all good, and then we just have to fix up this part. There we go. Now to help you guys understand the different components of this, I'm going to use blue wool to symbolize the gates that move up and down to hold the water in. I figure out later on that this is actually a bad idea because water is blue, but just try and bear with me here. It's my first tutorial. It's my first day. Anyways, yeah, then you can start laying in the first layer of dirt. This is going to be where the crops are planted, and you can walk on this all you want. It doesn't trample or anything like that anymore, which is good. And then you want to start setting up the walls. Now, I hadn't done this in a while. It's been about a week since I built this farm, and rain didn't exactly help my frame rate here, but anyways, I was trying to work out the different components all in my head before building it, so this, what I'm building right here, is sort of like a donut, and it's got 4 pillars in each corner, and it's used to direct the wheat into the center, and then it will all flow down to where you stand, because the power source at the bottom right here, in this case the lever, will eventually become a pressure plate. So all the gates will come down. As you can see, the pistons are all extended at the moment, which will hold the water in this block here, and that was timed perfectly, I love that. And the water's going to flow out when you step on the pressure plate, so that's what makes all the wheat flow to the center. And building these little water holders is actually quite difficult. You have to sort of like build it on the side of the piston, and yeah, I fucked that up right there, but that's fine. So you just do little L's in between them, and it's probably better to do the dirt floor first, I figured. That's how I did it when I built it for the first time, but I think it just makes it a lot easier to place the blocks around the side and everything. So yeah, eventually you'll have a nice symmetrical quad pattern. I don't know what it's actually called, but you got to make sure to get the water on the right side as well, not behind. It's really hard to explain, but just don't worry about that. If you fuck it up, you'll probably know the reason why. But there we go. Once again, I did the dirt floor last, which is once again not really desirable. You kind of want to have that done first. But I mean, whichever way is easiest, you don't have to follow this specific pattern. Now, this is the same thing, this floor. Remember, this is where we're entering from. And I kind of screwed that up. Yeah, put a blue wall there, you idiot. There we go. So this is where the blue wool is when you are standing on the pressure plate. So this is the easiest way to just build a piston there. Because we have to do this side differently, remember that, because it's not hooked up, there's a corridor interrupting the redstone where it wouldn't usually be. So we just hook it up right here from the limbs, from the first branch. So we can do that on both sides. Nice and symmetrical. Just going to run wires down there. So now the pistons are extended, just like their brethren. So now you can have like a little water area block thingy-majiggy right there, and continue on with the level. So once you're done, you're going to have this symmetrical looking sort of octagon shape, more so longer on the sides than the corners. But now I'm just going to fill in the water to show you how it works. So the water just goes behind each blue wool. See, this is when I realized it was a bad idea. But just you can build this out of whatever material you want, but just for demonstration purposes. So the water isn't flowing, you flick that, the water all flows to the center and doesn't flow any further. So all the wheat that was growing on the dirt is going to be pushed to the center, and once you build the walls up, there's it's not impossible, but the wheat, sorry, isn't going to get stuck that much. So that's pretty much all you have to do for one level. Now I started working on the second level here. Usually I build the pistons and the exterior wiring before I do the next level. But I mean, like I said before, you can do it whatever way you want. It doesn't really matter. So now I'm going to start working on the exterior walls of the level below, which is why I usually do the pistons first, but you're just going to want to put 3 on that side. You don't want to put the corners in yet, because that's where you run redstone to the next level's pistons. So it makes it much easier if you just do it this way. So on top of the blue is where I'm going to put pistons. There we go. So it's just basically, maybe, I think 8 towers of pistons and a block of your choice. I chose sandstone on a wooden structure, but in this tutorial I'm obviously doing a sandstone structure with blue wool as the water gates. So each one just stands on top of each other, but now you have to remember that the pistons are activated by default. So you run the vertical wire up. Now in this instance it's managed to work out perfectly, so that the torch is ready for the next level. You just run redstone to each one. And basically you have to have a torch on every level, no matter what the design. See, I forgot one here. I was like, how does this work? And then I'm like, oh, duh. So you need a torch. You just have to place it somewhere, and you can do your own fiddling around with it and everything, but I found that the easiest way is just to continue the vertical wire upwards, and then if it needs to be inverted, then, well, we'll get to that in a second. I think I show it in this area here. Now I actually marked this because the wiring is different for this part, so I just built a big wooden structure there. So that's like a corridor just leading into it to show you. And I realized that it's actually getting late in the day, so, oh well, not yet, I haven't, but so we have to hook up the wiring from there around this arc right here, because we can't bring it from the level below. So we need to think of it, we have to bring it out around the water source so it doesn't retract, well, not retract, but so it doesn't direct away from the pistons already being powered. So if you've done it right, it will just reach it. Not sure how many more blocks it would need, but you just have to do it on the same side, just on the other way, like so. Just power it down through here. Easy. There we go. Switch to daytime. Easy. So once again, we do need the torches. Oh, well, I don't remember how I recorded this. It was a little while ago. Shut up. But we do need torches for that other side, the redstone torch. But it's probably better to do this just level by level before you go working with the exterior wiring just yet. So this is how I do the walls around it. I just randomly did a water thing there. Didn't really have any systematic approach to this, I just kind of went with it. But yeah, I head back through it and do all the water sources. So once you've gone through and done the exact same level style as the floor below, you can start working on the exterior redstone. Same thing, when you come to this scenario, you're going to want to put active power flowing to the pistons as normal. So you might have to do what I just did, with the sort of V-shaped torch pattern. But yeah, you want each piston extended on top of another extended wool. So, yay patterns. So once you've done all that, you have to do the side that is different than the rest. And the best way to do this is to just think of it as its own individual wiring system. So don't worry about what you've done for the other sides, but just worry about the vertical wire and the equivalent wiring to each piston to make it turn on. Simple as that. So then you can continue the pattern and keep going on with the farm. Just make sure it goes as high as you want it. And remember that the higher you have this, the more pistons there will be, the more wiring there will be, and the more lag you will have. So just keep that in mind if you don't have, you know, a fantastic computer or anything like that. If you don't have a computer that can handle this sort of thing, then I'd probably recommend maybe 10 levels max. It'll drop your frame rate for a little while because it does generate a lot of entities. Remember that when you're building this. This is designed to uproot the wheat and send it to a collection point, and that's exactly what it does. So when it's time for harvest, the wheat is, yeah, by the shitload. It's a lot of wheat, and if you can't handle that sort of thing, I recommend turn your fog down or something just before you do each harvest. But yeah, I thoroughly like this design. It's very clean. It can fit in a tower. Few designs you could come up with yourself, perhaps try and fit it into like a castle room or something. I don't know. And here I'm finishing off the corridor of the entrance, just so you can get a feel for it. So all the wheat will collect to me from here. Just fly up through there. So once it's all done, it'll look much better. So I've capped it all off with a glass top, and I've put light sources up on the middle, at the back, at the top sort of interior. You'll see it once I fly in there and show you. This is all the redstone on the outside. Shouldn't look much more complicated than that. Remember to try and keep it as simple as possible. The redstone really isn't that difficult. But that's where the torch placement is, on the far back walls. Same thing for every level. That's enough to reach every crop. So I've just got the glass roof. I think it looks best like that. I don't know, you don't need the glass roof with the torches and everything that you have. So now I'm going to start with actually showing you the farm in action. So I'm going to start doing this. However, the problem with this, and I'm not sure if I should tell you guys this at this very moment or make you share in my stupidity, but what actually happened, like as you can see right here, I'm actually building a ladder, and this is your accessibility to everything. And oh wow, I've made a couple of mistakes here, but I went to get ladders when I already had them in my inventory, so fuck me. But anyways, this is the accessibility for replanting and rain again. Ugh. So you got to put the ladders up in this system. You can put it wherever you want really, but I just find that on the left at the front is the easiest to get to. So you don't have to put them that high. Or maybe you do, I don't remember. But anyways, you've got to sort of invert the blocks here. So you got to put it on the dirt, knock out those two, and then on the dirt, knock out those two, etc. For as high as you have this tower. So you need an sort of like a doorway between each area. So I'll just put those ladders back there. And you don't have to do that. I just put it on top so I don't keep going up. But it's your choice. So anyways, this is the way you get from wheat plantation to wheat plantation around the level. Just a tiny little bit of a corner. And wheat will get stuck in this. Only like 1 or 2 pieces though. Well, not 2 pieces obviously, but there is a small chance that the wheat will pop off into the corridors. And we can't go any further on that side, by the way, because the ladder's there, so we have to just go back the way we came. Which is good for planting and everything, so you can check that you've planted everything, and I actually think it is much better than just running around once and then going back down. So running there and then running back, I think is much more foolproof. But yeah, the mistake's coming up soon, I think, after I finish this last level. Alrighty, so now we're up to actually planting the crops into the little rooms. I always keep getting stuck in those doorways, it really annoys me. But as you remember, I put the water source blocks in this level, but I actually forgot to do it for the next... I can't remember if I did the top level or not, but I did forget it for this one. And then, well, not this one, but the one after this. And then they just started randomly dying, and I was like, what the hell? So we're gonna get the seeds here, so you can gather that from grass, and I think that's pretty much the only way you can get wheat now. I mean seeds. I think that's the only way you can get them. Yeah, I'm fairly certain. You just have to go and punch some grass. But anyways, just run through and do each 12 crops. So you get all the wheat done per level. It's the same thing, so repetition. Could be boring, but remember this isn't really intended to be like a common visit to the wheat farm. So yeah, this is where the ground starts dying, and I had to double take myself here because I thought that they must have changed it. See, look, that one, I could have sworn I did that, but I thought that they must have changed it so crops can be re-trampled now. And if that was the case, this would have taken longer. It wouldn't have been like a massive hassle or anything. But as I went to plant it, I was like, what the hell? And then it dawned on me, so... for shame. For shame. That's, yeah, make sure... This is actually good that I made that mistake, because it just shows that make sure you do every component that you need to. Don't forget anything. Because if you don't, it all works together. It's just one big ecosystem of water and design elements that make up this wheat farm. So make sure you put the water in as well. The water can be a bitch to put into each level because it's just such an awkward position. You'd have to go up the ladder with buckets upon buckets of water. But yeah, so if you don't have the water in, then the soil won't be fertile, so it will just turn back into dirt, which you obviously do not want for a wheat farm. Because, oh yep, just taking some damage on my head, no big deal. But then you can continue planting, and then it's all good from there. So the second last step is to make sure everything is planted, everything's set, everything's ready to go. Make sure you've done everything that you need to. It's, you know, not a big hassle. Don't flick the lever. Don't stand on any power source when you're down there and you've just planted, because that can just throw off your motivation entirely. Right, so the final step is to replace the lever with the pressure plate. Now, this doesn't have to be the final step, but this is how you do it if it is the final step. You need those torches there. You just always need a torch there to keep it powered, each individual branch. And then once you've actually disabled the power coming from the lever, you can replace it with a pressure plate like so. And then all you have to do is head back around and replace the torches. Now remember, you have to have 2 sets of torches, and it's kind of like rock climbing with a harness. You always need your harness attached to at least one line, because if you let go of one and go to hook it onto another, you have no harness in between that area, so that's just gonna fuck you up. You need to have it like that. But this is the final product, and I actually make a mistake here. I save my inventory and all that bullshit. The problem is I forget to turn off building mode, which is the boulder fist in the top left. So when I pick up the wheat, I only pick up 1, and it counts as an infinite stack. But the good news is it did manage to register how many seeds I got. So that's roughly 3 and a bit stacks. So I'd say that close to 4 stacks of wheat just from that little... well, I mean, you can do the math anyway. It's like 12 times 4 times 3. So there you go. I'd do the math, but I can't be bothered. Anyway, that's it for this tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys had some little bit of enlightenment in the world of wheat farming. But I'm going to go fly to space. See ya.